have such sights to show you.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Four Dead Losers podcast. We are three of the Four Dead Losers. I'm Ramiro.
Adam.
Jordan.
And today we're going to be talking about 28 years later, the Bone Temple. Ooh, spooky. Adam, non-spoiler thoughts, what do you think of the movie?
I actually thought it was really well done. I thought that everything in the movie landed for me pretty well. Definitely, I don't know, I didn't leave with too many gripes. I mean, there's a few things I could point out, but honestly, I felt like it was well-rounded. I felt like it had a purpose. It did its thing. It didn't overstay its welcome or drag out anything. I think every scene had its purpose and did exactly what it needed to do to either progress the story or set groundwork for something that was going to be revealed later or whatever was unfolding. So overall, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. Rating out of 10?
Ooh, man, I was kind of debating that these last couple of days.
It's been a hard one for me.
Yeah, I think kind of sitting on it a bit and just thinking about some of the other things, I would honestly give it a solid 9 out of 10. I think there's only a little few things that maybe I could say much about it, but I thought it was a very well done movie.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember what you gave the last. I went to check what I reviewed the last one, but
I don't remember. I think the last one was around, probably around an 8.5, probably.
Somewhere in that ballpark. Jordan, non-spoiler thoughts, what do you think of the movie?
I really, really enjoyed it. I saw this little interview snippet earlier where Danny Boyle, the director of the last one, the original creator, blah blah blah, talked about how the first film talks on the nature of family, and this one's about the nature of evil, and I feel like that's a really good descriptor. I feel like every movie in the entire franchise has gotten better than the last one, but the first few are kind of mid. So we don't talk about
wait. So you're saying the second one was better than the first one?
Weeks was better than days?
Oh,
Is that what you're getting
100%.
at?
I think we agreed on that.
Did we agree on that?
I agreed on that. I haven't rewatched them, and maybe these movies will make me view the originals in a better light.
I think I said I hated Weeks more because I just remember Weeks didn't seem like to have a purpose. It didn't have a purpose.
That's fair. It was filler for sure. Overall, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I went back to check my score for the last one, and I gave it a 9 out of 10, and I said I left some runway for this one. So, yeah, I took a while to debate my score as well. I'm feeling a 9.5 out of 10. I'm gonna leave room for the third one, and I'm praying. I will say, although it seems like the third one's gonna be another takes place, even though it hasn't been filmed yet, right after this one. Yeah. I'm assuming. I feel like these two movies together, the first one and second one, I would consider a 10, together paired. I think you can't watch one without watching the other. I think they need each other.
We can discuss that. That was a point Justin had brought up, and I have feelings about that.
I feel I feel really good about it. This is one of the rare trilogies where I feel like the second movie is better than the first, or it stays consistent. Even though the first was a little more, I don't know, I don't think people liked it as much as we tended to like 28 years later, the first one. It was a little more divisive. But yeah, really happy with it. 9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10. So, not spoiler thoughts for myself. I really did enjoy this movie as well. I thought it was really good. There were some jump scares. There were 2, in fact, that got me. And I was like, oh, wow, it's been quite a while since we went to a jump scare. Well, actually, I'll take that back. I went to go see Primate. That one got me some jump scares.
I was going to call it good. Maybe you didn't like it.
I thought
it was pretty good for what it was.
It was a fun time. But we're not talking about Primate today.
Let's switch the movie.
True. For 28 years later, Bone Temple. I thought the story was really good, just like they're saying, that it does a really good job about connecting the first movie to what it already got greenlit, right? The next 28 years later movie.
It did, yes.
I feel like it'll be a really good bridge, and I did like this one more than I liked the first one, first in quotes. I guess the first one in this trilogy.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I would probably rate this movie like an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was really, really good as well. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the spoiler section of the video. This is going to be your spoiler warning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, keeping the 28 years later like name in front of the Bone Temple, I feel like made a lot of sense to me. I didn't realize. I don't know why. Like obviously, I knew this one would take place right after the first, but I think that like they have to coexist together.
Yeah. Yeah. So the movie basically starts with, I think, like a black screen, right? And we can hear like screaming coming from, the speakers or whatever. And we're assuming that this is the start of the infection, because then we hear Cillian Murphy saying hello, like when he gets out of the hospital, and then we get the title card, the 28 years later. We eventually cut to all of the Jimmies at the end of the Power Rangers or Teletubbies or whatever you want to call them. At the end of the 28 years later, and they're all in like a water park, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
it's like an indoor water park, but it's like the pool's obviously drained, and they're like in the honestly at the bottom of like a pool, like a wave pool.
Yeah. And they have the kid from the first movie, who his name is Spike, yeah. And the Jimmies are surrounding him, except for the main guy. Who plays the main guy? What's his name from Sinners?
I forget his name. We can look it up.
Something O'Connell. I don't know.
Oh, Jack O'Connell.
Jack O'Connell.
Yeah.
So Jack O'Connell is sitting on like a throne, I think, right? Like he has his own.
What I feel like that's where the lifeguard.
Not even a throne, it's just a lifeguard. I think he's a lifeguard.
So he's on a higher ground.
I mean, it's supposed to be a throne.
He might have fixed it into a throne. Yeah.
Or like symbolically, like that's what they were going for.
For sure.
So all of the Jimmies are around Spike, and basically what happens here is that they're all bullying him, for a lack of a better term, and what Jack O'Connell basically says is like it's a fight to the death, right? Like Spike has to kill one of them in order to take their place in the Jimmies. Mm-hmm. So that way, it comes into play later, but essentially what's going on with that is he's like a false prophet, right? Where he's like trying to keep. They call him later on. They refer to them as the fingers. Yeah. He needs the strongest to be the fingers.
Yeah, is it the fingers of the right hand, and there has to be 7 fingers? It's like, wait a minute. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't add up here.
There's gonna be more fingers later. It says there'll be more.
It does say there'll be more fingers.
So then I think Jack O'Connell's Jimmy starts to like pray to the Dark Lord, right?
He calls him Lord, or is it Nick?
Old Nick.
Old Nick.
He calls him Old Nick. And so then they're like, okay, cool, whatever. So then we zoom back to what's going on in the pool, and basically they throw like a shiv at Spike, right? Mm. And then the one that I guess technically chose him to fight is like, come on, come at me, all these kind of things. And then I think he like goes for it, but then he dodges out of the way and he ends up falling on the floor. But then Spike pulls his pants down, right? And like just gives him a quick like
yeah. Well, I will say, I think part of this was like, they were egging him on. Obviously, this is not their first rodeo of like their initiation, and obviously I think you can tell pretty quickly it's very set up as in like it's a fight to the death. I think we don't realize that he really means like one of them has to die no matter what. Because you would think like if somebody's on his team or his group that he'll probably stop it at some point, right? Of like, I think he's done enough. He's proven himself, right? Yeah. But in eyes of Jimmy, we find out pretty quickly that it's like proving yourself is surviving. Like you have to 100%. Be able to win over anybody that comes in your way. And so the point that to be had is the Jimmy that he does choose, and it come to find out he had to have chosen him. Spike had to choose him.
You're right.
Every time they comes up later, but the guy's basically playing around with him because he knows like that Spike. Spike has no chance of winning. Obviously, a lot of these people are very well trained in survival. Like they know how to do hand-to-hand combat and knives, and because he's able to get it, disarm him multiple times, and throws him on the ground, messes with him.
Yeah, I feel like also just to point out something you said, since we don't know like the full rules of it, or we haven't like hit that point yet, it also does feel kind of like a setup where even though it's the 1v1 with Spike and the other guy, like all the other Jimmies are still surrounding.
Yeah, so you
like
can-
you would imagine if Spike does fight back, that like
Yeah, it can be
he's
bad.
cooked no matter what.
Yeah, so and that's the thought, right? Like everybody's like, well, that it's a no-win situation, like you're saying, and they even at one point, yeah, like they're like anytime that they get thrown near them or around them, the other Jimmies will like push you back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so, there's no like
no
helping.
running.
There's no
Yeah.
helping. There's no helping, running, anything. And I think at one point we first see the first cracks, which plays a role into the rest of the movie later, where one of the Jimmies, I forget her name. There's two female Jimmies. It's not what is the other one called? Jemima. It's not Jemima. It's
It's Jimmy something. There's like a.
is it Jimmy
I thought it
Shite?
was-
Is it Jimmy Shite?
I
There's
thought
like
it
a
was
suffix.
Jimmy-ette.
Jimmy.
I thought, but I could be mistaking.
There's
Yeah,
some
there-
kind of suffix.
Yeah, I'll look it up. But there's two female Jimmies, but one of them is the one that wears the red jacket.
Yes.
To make it a point. She also has the what is it, the micro bangs in her Jimmy
Yeah.
wig. But she's like, stop messing around, like finish him, like you're just toying with him. And the guy's like, stop, don't tell me how to do it or whatever. Because again, they take pleasure in people suffering, so it's obviously the group is kind of sadistic in that way. And so, like you were saying, he pulls down his pants. He kind of freaks out because he's like trying to figure out what to do, and then he gets stabbed in the leg, and then he pulls a knife out. Right? He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like I'm gonna skin you," and he like rips it out, and then like bad. I wouldn't say bad, but like cheesy special effects.
Yeah.
Like it reminded me of. Freddy versus Jason, like the blood is just like
Way over
shooting
the
out,
top.
yeah. And he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And it's like, "Oh, you hit an artery." And it's like, "Oh no." So I'll let John continue. But I thought that was fun. I was like, "Dude, oh my god!" I go, "That's what he gets." He was like toying with him,
Yeah.
and then like Spike just kind of looks out that he hit an artery.
He
and
hit
the
an
dude pulled it
artery in his
out.
thigh.
Yeah, and the dude pulled it
And
out.
this is when you see like cracks in the ranks because one of the Jimmies is like begging Sir Lord Jimmy to help him.
That's what they refer to. You're right. Jack
Sir
O'Connell's
Lord.
shirt is Sir
Jimmy
Lord.
Crystal.
Yeah,
like,
Sir Jimmy
whatever.
Crystal. I think it's Sir Jimmy Crystal.
Yeah, one of them's like begging him to help, and he's like, "Nope,
He's
too
like,
bad."
"Sorry."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this guy eventually like bleeds out, and then they all, as they're leaving the water park, I think Jimmy Crystal gets somebody gets the wig and then basically puts it on.
I think it's the guy who didn't want him to die.
Yeah, and throws the wig at him. Yeah.
Yeah.
They leave the water park. There's a shot of the Bone Temple, and then we go to somebody hunting. So he's a solo hunter in the forest, and I think he's either already running or he snaps a twig, and then that's when they
I
all
think
start
so,
running
yeah.
after him. But this is where Samson comes out, and we get the shot of him just doing like the Predator, where
Right.
he
Dude.
puts his
Right.
his hand over this man's face
And
and then
just rips out
pulls
his-
out
Just to
his
get the
skull.
little like the special effect of like when we see things from Samson's
Oh
POV.
yeah.
or-
So I think that was a big thing this go around was that we see things in Samson's perspective. So like we've never up to this point seen anybody infected like through their eyes. We've only
Yeah.
seen them after the fact, right? And so they see the blurry, like it's almost like the end of what was that Asylum movie that we saw? The one with the ghost hunters.
Oh,
where they're in the corners. Like it's like one of those cheesy effects.
It
Grave
had one.
Encounters.
Grave Encounters.
It had one of the conjuring effects.
Yeah, it's like one of those like just like blurry, like distorted.
white face,
Yeah,
yeah.
white face. And so that's giving us our first indication that like that's why I think some of them act as angry as they do is because they perceive regular people as a threat and they see them differently compared to other zombies,
Yeah.
I guess.
So Samson literally pulls a Predator, right, where he rips this guy's head off, and it comes with.
And it's
the
like
spine
clean,
and
like it doesn't
everything.
even make like a it's not even like it's hard for him. Like it just
No,
pulls out like
yeah.
the ribs. It's just like it's like what?
And I can get it on Fortnite.
You can have it as your pickaxe. So then we cut to the doctor. What was his name?
Dr.
Kelson.
Kelson.
You're right.
Dr. Kelson, and he finds the body of the mom from the first movie in the train that had given birth.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's taking it out so that way he can take it to be part of his temple, right? And so we get we get basically a shot of the whole thing from him finding the body to taking it out to moving it to the field. Where then,
It's like Jack too. He's like muscles are like
Yeah.
and then we get shots of now Samson, and he's eating the dude's brain.
Yeah,
like he's
he's
scooping
and
it
the
out.
rest of the zombies are eating like the body. Like,
Yeah.
eating.
There's only like 2 or 3 times I think that we see the infected in this movie, outside of Samson.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's a really
It's a personal choice, and it's because of
The pace is
theme.
slower, yeah.
Well, that and the theme that they're going for with this one.
yeah.
Yeah, for this one, I feel like they leaned a whole lot into like how they did in the 28 Days Later, where it's more of the people.
Or-
Yeah,
Or-
less about the infected. Whereas like Weeks, I feel like focuses
On the
even like the
infected.
first 28 years later focuses a lot on the infected and
Yeah.
like running away from. it.
Yeah, I think in this one I think they had said the plot of it too was the evil of man, like
Yeah.
they are that as people we cause a problem similar to you're saying the first one where the general or whatever is actually the big bad at the
Yeah.
end.
There's really only like 3 or 4 locations in this movie. Like it's very
Uh-huh. So then basically what ends up happening is that Samson hears the doctor and then they meet in the field. So Samson, I think at first they're like kind of in a standoff because the doctor pulls out like his
The
blow
dart
dart,
gun, yeah.
and he loads it with a dart that has opioid on it. And so I think he, like, at this point, Samson already kind of connects 2 and 2 together a little bit, right? Because he doesn't run at him right away like he does with everybody else.
he's angry or like he's
Yeah.
Because he's already been shot before in the first movie, right?
Right.
Like when they first escaped from Samson.
Yeah.
And we even have they plant the seed that this isn't that moment that we saw in the first movie wasn't the first time that he done it because he's named him at that
Samson,
point.
yeah.
So here, eventually Samson does walk up to, or I guess stumble up or whatever, to the doctor, and he blows him with the dart, and then he, does his whole thing. But Samson has a bunch of arrows that are sticking out of him, and so
that was
then
from
the doctor,
the first movie, Spike and his dad.
Mm-hmm. So then the doctor's makes a comment, something about I think he says something of like that Samson's his first infected patient or something like that. So then he helps him out. He pulls out the arrows, kind of treats his wounds a little bit, and then we get to the temple eventually, and here the doctor's cleaning off all the bones, doing that whole thing, and then we find out that he actually has an underground bunker, like at the temple,
which I think they showed a little bit at the very end of the first one.
They did a little bit, but like
They hide it
where they hide it, it was like a like.
Oh, it's a separate thing.
yeah,
You're
it's
right,
like
you're
they're
right.
close to the thing.
He also, I'm pretty sure with the pregnant lady, we see a quick shot. He like reassembles her.
Does he?
Like we see a quick shot of a pelvis, like he's reassembling a skeleton.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He put that somewhere else though. He put
He's like, this might be the first person he didn't only have the skull for, or I don't know.
no, because he does the femurs and stuff too.
Oh,
of the that's how he does the pillars.
Because this one, he's like, I feel like reassembling into a statue or something.
Kind
I
of,
don't know.
Yeah.
We never see it again, so.
It might be. I don't know. But I know that he adds the skull to
The pile.
And he
Yeah,
does have a
pile.
bunker, bro.
That's all
Yeah.
nature.
Where
And
has
he lays dong too.
and he has a generator. Yeah.
He got a whole vinyl
I'm about to say,
player
how
on
does,
there.
I was like, man, so how does this man still have gas? It's been 28 years.
I was wondering
I
that.
don't know. He puts on a record, and I really wish that I would have wrote down what song that he was playing,
Yeah, I don't
because I
remember.
feel like it would have been important, especially like during the scene that we'll get into later on. Where like
Wasn't it a David Bowie? No.
The scene at the end is an Iron Maiden song.
Yeah, that's Iron Man. But
Number of the
that's, was it, I think it was a David. It wasn't David Bowie, was it?
It was some classic, because he had like a poster
I'll
too.
look it up. I'll look it up. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong, but.
and then we move to he's putting on a record, he's resting, that kind of whole thing, and then we get cut to outside, and then we are in the field where the alpha basically comes out of the forest and into sight, right? So like the field is looking at the forest, the alpha is at the tree line, makes his way into the field. But he doesn't attack on sight. Now he's like even more cooperative, I guess. So he's at the end of the tree line, makes eye contact with the doctor, and then the doctor like motions Samson to come towards him.
Right, and he's kind of, I feel like he's carrying his weapon at like a...
Yeah,
like a neutral
he has
position.
in a neutral position. And then he basically like implies that the two of them would like trade, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know which of the 3 it was, but it says I think it was a Duran Duran one. It was either Ordinary World, Girls on Film, or Rio. Because I know Radiohead also plays too, where everything
Rio
is
is later. Rio, he's dancing.
okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's Ordinary World, maybe is what it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We also see like shots. I'm pretty sure this is when we see like the pictures of him young and like his family and wife and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're in the bunker.
Yeah.
So the doctor said, "Hey, like I'm not a threat to you. There's medicine on this dart that's gonna, calm you down, all that kind of stuff." And so like, I think it's funny, but at this point, he's basically like, there's medicine on the dart, but we don't know he doesn't say what the medicine is yet. But essentially, what's going on is he got Samson addicted to opioids.
I mean, basically, yes.
So then So then the doctor leads Samson after injecting him with the opioid to like the edge of the bone temple, and he takes some drug himself, right?
They talk for a little bit, and then
he licks the dart, and then they basically both fall asleep at the edge of the bone temple, and like it's like a hill or something. But then the doctor wakes up, Samson's gone, and he's like, "I'm alive," and then he does like a happy dance.
During their conversation, he essentially talks about like how there's nobody else around and how it's just them two, and basically it gives the idea like if Samson were to kill him, he would be okay with dying at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he wakes up and does he does a gritty on it.
He goes like that.
Which I really love. We'll see more of it later. I really love this payoff because anytime they were in a scene together, I feel like I was just waiting for Samson to attack him or kill him. So I think they played it very well.
Well, and then like the conversations they're having too is really good. Like I feel like every conversation is like him either giving some information of like how he's feeling or how he's perceiving things, and he's just kind of like
this is the doctor talking to Samson.
And like I think it's very just interesting. Like I'm glad how they played this movie out, whereas it could have been just as easy to just like fall into the trap of we're just gonna follow Spike the whole time. I think they were smart in not doing that and saving that for other key moments and allowing this to like still be one of the moving lines. I guess it's almost like there was two moving things. It's like two lines that eventually have to converge, right? Like you have the Spike and the fingers, and then you have Samson and the doctor, and then eventually they have to coalesce
and it
come
feels
together.
like I don't know, like almost like the whole first movie was building up to this moment where like they rerun into each other, and it's this big and I wondered why the doctor was on the poster for this movie, and after seeing it I understand. Like to me it seems like the focal point, like this is the like human aspect of the whole thing. We see evil on one side, and it's juxtaposed with this like, even though this person's infected, the doctor's trying so hard to really connect with him.
Yeah,
because he could easily kill because he can sedate him. He could have easily killed Samson.
Done with it. It's like how the first movie, it's like watching two different movies at the halfway point. This one is watching two different movies until we get to their conversion point.
Yeah, which is really interesting. Just to touch on that, I was going to save it for the end, but a lot of people, I feel like, dislike the pace change in the first, which is interesting because I feel like this movie really carries on that like pace we got in the second half of the first one, which I thought the slower pace was what people didn't like, but maybe it's because, like you're saying, it doesn't feel so like really fast paced into really slow pace. Like the whole movie kind of follows this, even though it's juxtaposed with like the violence and then the like humanitarian stuff.
I just like the conversations feel like everything was meaningful. Like there was no wasted commentary that I could think. It seemed like everything fit for a reason. Every line that was given was just like exactly what it needs to be. Especially reminded me, and again, people can disagree, but like of some of the Quentin Tarantino films, like the ones like The Hateful Eight, where literally like 90% of that movie is just people having conversations in the same cabin for like the entire 2.5 hour movie, and there's even like I'm sure a 3 hour director's cut. And, but everything that's being said like is important,
holds weight,
and it holds its weight. Like I think that there's movies that have that, and I don't feel like they exaggerated as much in this one, but like everything reminds me how those are where it's meaningful and it carries on to whatever's coming up next.
I don't think anything with the Doctor or Samson is like filler at all or meant to like any moment that we see them, it is valuable to the movie.
So then we get shots of the doctor grooming himself, you know, doing his whole, you know, maintenance kind of thing. And Samson brings the doctor a deer head.
Oh yeah.
That has like the spine attached to it. And then they start getting high together.
Yeah.
And then they, you know, we get basically time passing, right? Like the day, night cycle, that kind of stuff. And then this is where we get to the hunting party. That they're using, I guess, their version of sign language. I don't think it's ASL.
No, it's just like communicating because they know we can't mess with these people or we don't want to trigger any zombies. They find mushrooms. They're all excited. Like, oh yeah.
And there's 3 of them.
There's 3 of them. And then they see an infected. One of them makes the decision of we have to kill it before.
Even though they told him not to.
Yeah, well, it's like we have to kill it before it sees us because if it sees us, it's gonna scream.
And at that point, I think it had even walked past them. Like it didn't even notice.
Well,
them.
he thought, I can just sneak behind it and get it now.
Right, they could have snuck out. But.
Yeah, and so then unfortunately, of course, they're in the woods. He steps on a twig and. They do the what is it your
like invasion of the body snatcher.
And then all the zombies come in and they just bail like before that guy tries to take on the zombie and the other people are like let's go and they leave.
Can you blame him? You know?
Yeah, he's like really can't. At this point they've had 28 years.
And I'm dumb. I'm an idiot. I shouldn't have even made that comment earlier. Of course they have nothing to do with the island. They're the farm.
They have like their own
farm. They're their farm. Yes, which. Not that far from any of these places.
Literally, they have like a gate around the farm. It's like leaving on the like.
Well, not even that. Not even just that, but like these are all fairly not. I mean, I guess
they're within like a day's walk of each other.
Yeah, not obviously like half a day almost. Because if homie left during the daytime and got back by the evening, so it's like. You would have thought, you know, or did they not see the smoke from that house either?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Well, actually, I thought they made a comment on that.
Oh, you know what?
In the first movie.
I think you're right because they saw the house with the lights, but then they also saw the bone temple fire. I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
because they do comment on like the dad comments on how the doctor's crazy.
Yeah,
when they see the smoke.
But I can remember if that was just. But maybe I think they did see lights in the farther, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they saw parts of the house. Yeah, I have to rewatch it too. That'd be cool if they did to showcase there is another group there, but you don't want to. They don't want to test it, you know.
Yeah.
But they basically ditch homie.
He tries to take on the infected.
Yeah, and then
doesn't last very long.
He gets overpowered pretty easily.
This is another,
and he gets infected too. He like really bad.
I don't know if did we see that in 28 years later the first one. Anybody get infected? It felt very similar to the first movie where like the dad gets infected.
I don't think we did.
No, because
not in 28 years.
No, because the mom went off on her own accord. We thought she was gonna get bit because of the whole. That was a pretty tense scene. The whole like
we see people get killed by the infected,
but never infected.
Yeah, so this is one of the rare moments we see that.
So then the other 2 foragers take off, just like Adam is saying, and then they make it to a gate where, and then they lock the gate behind them. This is their compound where they basically stay. It's like a smaller farm, right? You can see they have animals in pens and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the chickens, the lava chicken, and then there's like a 15-foot fence, right, like around the entire thing. And then they get into the house, and then at the house, this is where we see that the Jimmies had shown up.
Because the guy comes in, or they open the door, and she's like, this is an old man, and she's like, we had to leave him, blah, blah. She's trying to tell, like, explain, like, what happened. And
they're trying to convince him that they didn't ditch him.
Yeah, they ditched him, like, they kind of, like, cover themselves. But you could tell the guy's like, don't say anything, and they come in, and the Jimmies are just literally eating all their food.
Eating all their food. What does he say? Like, because the 2 people, the foragers, are really standoffish with the Jimmies, and Jimmy Crystal is like, "Oh, where are my manners? We didn't introduce. Where are my manners? We didn't introduce ourselves. I'm Jimmy, Jimmy, and until they get to him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm," and then he says some other random name. I don't remember what he says.
Oh, I guess there was 3 females actually. There's Jimmy. So here are the Jimmies, by the way. So obviously there's Jimmy Crystal, which is Jack.
They all have last names.
Yeah, Jimmy Inc. I think Jimmy Inc. is the one that saves him.
That's the only one they call by the full name.
Yeah, Jimmy Inc. Jemima is the one with the fairy wings. Jimmy Jones is, I guess, one of the other ones. I don't know. I don't remember. And then there's, I don't know who Tom. Oh, Tom's the brother. Jimmy Fox and Jimmy Snake. Those are all the.
And Spike
Jimmys.
doesn't have one, or what?
Spike's Jimmy, I think.
I don't think they give him a last name.
Yeah.
So basically, then what happens here is that it's the very awkward thing, right? Where it's these people are not the Jimmies aren't
not
welcome.
Oh, I love this part.
Yeah, they're there eating all of their food, and I forget how he says it, but it's basically like.
Like you're gonna leave, right? Or
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well yeah. At
After-
first they're just kind of like, "What are you doing here?" Like she's being very upfront. This is the daughter of, I'm assuming, the parents of the farmhouse, by the way.
Yeah.
So she was the one that just came back from hunting. So it was her, I believe, her brother, and then I
Or
think,
is the partner the guy who asked? One of them's like the husband. Was that not the one she was with?
I think it's the brother.
Oh, it's the brother? I
don't know. I don't know how they're all related. They never explain
Because
it.
there's the two guys that went out hunting, the two parents, and then the other random guy that I don't know who he is.
I don't. But the girl.
I thought the girl was the one that went. No, the girl's the one that went hunting.
Girl's the one that went hunting.
Correct. It's the girl and guy.
She's pregnant.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes.
But
Okay.
the third guy, the random younger, like middle-aged guy, is the one who asked them, like, "Oh, after we feed you, you're gonna leave, right?"
Right.
Like,
That's I think the one that was on the thing with him because he wouldn't ask that if
Oh.
he was there. I'm thinking. Anyways, doesn't matter. Okay, so so basically they're like making it awkward because the whole like
It's really
interaction.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, hold on, like yeah, we're just like tell him the story." He's trying to explain what is it, the Teletubbies
So
episode.
then the one girl's dancing.
Yeah,
like,
and then he's like, "Do the dance, Jemima," and she basically gets up and is like,
for a long
Like,
time.
yes, and like is just doing random dances, and he's
They do a really good, or I think that they did a really good job here about like building tension because we know that at some point somebody's gonna snap, but we don't know who it's gonna be.
Because we get like the Jimmy's being like Jimmy Crystal's just like always like this weird like fun but kind of you can feel that he's off.
Yeah.
But all the Jimmys are like laughing and having fun, and you can feel that the family like it's not spoken, but they're clearly being held like hostage. Like,
Yes.
or it's just a really like tense. Yeah.
Yeah, it
good.
felt not. I don't think that they. I mean, they might have gotten inspiration from it, but it feels to me it felt like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre scene with the dinner scene.
Yeah.
Where they're all like laughing, and then you have I forget the girl's name, but the one who's being held captive, right?
And she's just there, except it's like a whole, but except this is not their house, or it's somebody else's.
It's somebody else's house.
I think, and then but we know it's probably going to be the girl that sets it off because she is like very like upfront, like, and they're like, you can tell the rest of the family's like
yeah, she's pushing back.
He's
on that.
pushing, and like you probably shouldn't, but
yeah.
She says something to Jimmy, and then brings up so when are you gonna leave? And he like snaps because he was like, oh, what is it? We're just here to accept good fortune or like your kindness and your you giving to us. And she's like, no, you need to leave. And then he like slams his hand, and all the Jimmys like freak out. They're like. Yeah. And then they all stop, and he's like, I said we're gonna accept your gratitude and all this stuff. And then basically the dad, I think, or I'm assuming dad or uncle, whoever, basically was like, run, and he throws the hot water on them.
Boiling water.
Because somebody, it gets re-asked in some manner, and Jimmy's like, oh, well, we're going to eat.
Oh, he's like,
and then we're going to kill you or something. Like,
yeah, basically.
That's when he throws the hot water.
Yeah, throws the hot water, and then they all start running and fighting, and basically they all get captured, right, is what's going on, except for the pregnant lady who was one of the foragers. She runs into the barn, and then Jimmy Crystal is like, go find her, XYZ. So then we kind of cut after that. Then we go back to the Bone Temple, where we see the doctor, and he's dancing and singing while Samson is like freaking high on opioids.
Yeah.
And I think this is where he's singing Rio.
Rio, that's right. And then to point out, I can't remember if it was I think it was right as soon as they get done with the dinner, he tells Jimmy Inc.
You're right.
that she needs to go find the next place to like where their next basically location is.
Yeah.
And so she goes out, and then the Rio scene happens because basically he's the doctor's having another hangout with Samson, and he's basically like trying to test, I guess, the limits of what he's able to like get Samson to do. And so one of them is he's like dancing with him to Rio and singing to him and seeing what his reaction is. So she looks through the binoculars because she sees, I think, the smoke, and looks through the binoculars to see and sees him dancing with an alpha. So they obviously are aware of alphas too.
Yeah.
And is like, what the heck? And so to her, I can't remember if she says it out loud, but in her mind, we come to find out she thinks that's the famous old Nick
Yeah.
that they're referring to, because she sees the Tower of Bones, she sees all the skulls and stuff.
And he's dancing with, like,
he's
one of the
dancing, and
demons.
the demons. He's red. Well, in this case, I think he's really more orange because of the iodine. Is it iodine?
Iodine.
Yeah.
Iodine. But to her, from far away, it looks like he's red, and he's just hanging out with the demon, and like knowing that the alpha is like crazy and could kill him, but he has him subdued, and she doesn't know that he's drugging him. So she's like, oh,
This
okay.
is Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes back, and then we get to the nighttime scene pretty quickly. Like, they cut to the barn scene pretty fast.
This is funny because they do the whole like face mask thing. Why is this
Strangers.
more strangers and better than any of the new reboot? Like the reboot just had to do this and it would have been okay.
I mean, you're not wrong. Apparently, so this is a bit of a sidetrack. I think I sent y'all the post, but apparently that this upcoming weekend at some festival or theaters in LA, they're gonna do a 4-hour plus super cut of all 3 movies in one go for the trilogy.
It's gonna be empty.
Oh my God.
The worker's not even gonna show up.
I can't.
I wouldn't even show up.
The second one is so bad. It is so bad.
Secretly a masterpiece. We just can't see it.
He's gotta wait for the third one.
The CGI hog, bro. Who's gonna...
True. So just like they're saying, going back to Bone Temple, just like they're saying, we get the barn scene where basically we have the family all tied up
and hanging from
and they're hanging by their hands. And Jimmy Crystal is basically being all preachy and saying that the demons come and they destroy the world of man. So what's going on here is like So Jimmy Crystal is the little kid from the intro scene of the first 28 years later.
Yes.
So whenever the infected like crashed into the church and his dad was preaching, the kid who hid under the floorboards, that's Jimmy Crystal.
We also see, like in the first movie, a couple places they see the person hanging with like Jimmy carved on their back. They see like the Jimmy is here. There's like
yes.
We see a lot of the Easter eggs in the first movie.
So I think, and then part of 2, what we're getting from this scene as well is like what Jimmy now truly believes and what he's all about. So like obviously we got a little bit of that from the beginning.
This one he does the finger speech.
Yeah, he does the finger speech and explains that they're the fingers to the right hand,
right.
against 7 out of your 5 fingers.
He gets talked to by...
he gets talked to by old Nick, which obviously is what he perceives to be Satan. But in his eyes, he believes... Well, he hasn't, I guess, explained it yet. Yeah, that's later. But
the other thing is that old Nick is his dad.
Old Nick is his dad. And so... we'll get to that later whenever they bring up that whole thing. And he explains that, and then he brings up what he had mentioned earlier, which I don't think we fully grasped until now, which is like, okay, so now that we have you here, we're going to, basically give you, what was it called? What does he call it?
Charity?
Yes.
Charity.
So we have to choose charity, and old Nick is going to decide what the charity is. Or was it Old Nick or one of the other ones? I think it was Old Nick.
I think it's Old Nick.
Yeah, this one Old Nick gets to decide. And so he listens to him. He always and he says...
He always goes like this.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's going to be shirts. So we're like, oh, okay, so shirts. Okay, what is that going to entail? And so they get the knives. They all go up. We say all. Most of the Jimmys go up. The only Jimmy that doesn't go up is obviously Spike. And then the Jimmy Ink that is in the field steel, probably coming back from the Bone Temple. So we get, again, all the Jimmys except for Jimmy Ink, Jimmy Spike, and then, of course, what was the... Crystal, the other... Oh,
the main guy.
The main guy. Oh, Jimmy Crystal, yeah. And then, of course, we still don't know where the hunter that fled is. So basically, shirts entails that they are going to essentially skin them all the way across their torso, like all around their body until they have no skin. And they're like, man, they're taking a while doing it. It's like, man, they're obviously sickening and enjoying it. So they have the masks on, and they also, I don't know if you caught this, the masks have like the fugglers with the teeth. They have the teeth and the mouth. It's really gross. And so they're doing that. Spike starts seeing it, and again, he's not participating. He freaks out and runs outside and is vomiting.
Yeah.
But nobody acknowledges that's that he left or whatever, is not participating, which I thought was weird, because you would think that Jimmy Crystal would say something,
him,
but nothing there. Honestly, I don't even think he's paying attention. And so he's outside puking up his guts while this is going on. He's out there for a while. They are going through the process, and Jimmy, Jimmy Ink shows back up, sees Spike, and is like, hey, like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. She's like, you know, you have to stomach this. Like, if you're going to be a part of this crew, you have to, like, do this. But you can already tell there's a little bit of, like, from the earlier stuff that she's not maybe fully bought into Jimmy Crystal. Like, she has something, like, that doesn't, something's not sitting right with her. Right. She's also questioned him in another way, too, before also about something else. But, again, it kind of gets brushed off. They stay outside. They kind of fast forward almost pretty quickly, immediately, right, about the whole, like, skinning thing.
We'll split them apart for a little bit, but the reason why they fast forward is because we get shots of the temple. So we can finish up what's going on with this, and then we'll jump over to the temple.
Okay, is this where we finally get the... Yeah, okay. Well, I guess we should do that, beforehand.
Okay. So then, so basically what happens is, just like Adam is saying, right, Jimmy Ink talks to Spike, and then we get cut to the temple. And so at the temple, it's the Doctor and Samson, and of course they're hanging out, and he's talking... this is where we find out that it's opioids that he's giving him. And he basically says, like, Samson, if you could give me any sign at all, like, that would be really helpful, because he currently has a needle that he's going to use to euthanize.
Well, the reason for that is because he also states, he's like, and this is like one of the more somber moments too, he's like, hey friend, like, I need you to understand that
he's running out.
Like, I have searched every hospital over the last course of however many years.
Like
70 miles.
75 miles.
That's a lot of miles.
Yeah, and
they're in the UK. Why are they using miles? It should be kilometers.
Kilometers, yes. Continue.
Oh, that's a plot hole.
Plot hole. Bring it down.
Wait, American audience.
Well, he doesn't have an accent. Does he have an accent?
Yeah, I think he does.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
So he,
lower the score.
Yeah, he's like, and this is like I said, pretty somber moment. He's like, you know, I'm sorry, friend, but like whatever peace you found in what I've been giving to you, it can't last very much longer. Like, I only have a 2-week supply left at the rate that you're taking it, which I'm assuming it seems like he's coming once a day, and then like just. You know,
the big boy.
Yeah, but he is. I mean, because I'm about to say he got knocked out just by licking the needle, and obviously Samson's getting hit with it.
Yeah.
So basically, he's letting him know, which we kind of figured too. And I mentioned this to my wife, by the way. I told her, I go, how is he getting all these supplies that he needs? Yeah, I think it was more iodine, but I also meant the morphine too. I'm like, where is he finding these drugs? And she's like, he can just make it. I'm like, what do you mean I'm just making morphine? Like, or whatever, like, I'm sure there's something he has to have found. Like, he can't have an endless supply. So we finally do get that. So I told her, I turned to her during that part, and I said, I've told you.
Those big pharma packages.
Yeah, he just, like, he didn't have to use it very often, right? I'm assuming he just used it on the occasional one that, you know, strolled up on him, which is odd to think that, like, out of all the times he's been out and hunting, like, maybe it doesn't seem like he's encountered as many and had to, like, you know, go to combat with them very much. He seems to be able to.
Does the iodine cover the smell?
It covers the smell. That's right.
The iodine kills the virus.
Kills the virus, but also I think they don't really, you know, do too much to him if he has it either. I guess. Like, I mean, they can mess with him, but I guess.
I feel like the alphas, like Samson, is the only one that ever really detects him.
Yeah, just really messes with him. But so I thought it was a really cool moment because it also it's showing his emotional side of, like, he can tell that. Maybe, yes, Samson is just addicted to opioids, but he, I think, can kind of see, too, when he's been looking at his eyes and, like, having discussions with him, and discussions, one-way discussions, but, like, that he can tell that maybe something's getting through to him, and he's just like, you know, like, I just need you to know, like, whatever piece you have found, like, it's probably not going to last, so I'm like, I offer you this, which is the same thing that he offered to the mom in the previous one, which obviously is a
it's like eternal peace.
Yeah, eternal. Yeah, I can give you eternal piece of what I've given you, but like if you don't, he's like, the only thing I can't get from you is consent, which I thought was also a cool, still call back to him, like seeing him as a patient. He's like, if you can just tell me or say anything or utter even like a word, I'll know what you mean. And Samson's looking up because half the time when he's drugged, he's like eyes rolled back and just in the sky.
And it's a full moon.
And it's a full moon, and so as he literally sticks the needle in him, he's just about to press it, and like that. I thought that was pretty good too, how they set that up, because it builds tension of like, like he's gonna die. Like he's about to kill the alpha that like hopefully we at some point in fate wanted him to maybe live, because we've had remnants too of him when he's gotten it. Because did they show the berry scene before or after this?
I think it was before.
The berry scene, yes, is before this, because he had because he had the pants already at that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at one point we find that he, because I think he brings this up too, is that he had mentioned to Samson, he's like, Samson, I truly believe that like there's more to y'all's illness than what we perceive.
Yes.
Almost like it's a blanket over.
Well, he's like, I just don't know what that piece is missing. He knows that it affects your body, it affects whatever, but he's like, but there's something else getting affected and I can't figure it out. And earlier I think we see that he's picking berries and like even wipes his hand, like so he's starting to kind of have some humanity. So I think that's what scares us, that he's gonna die, Samson, because we see that like wait, hold on, that there he's actually like maybe getting some semblance or whatever, because even at 1.2 is like getting like fuzzy headed, like he can tell things are starting to like, he hears trains and things like that like in the distance, like he hears noises but he can't figure out what they are. And so that's when he's about to give him the shot. This is all before that, and then he says moon. He does the like the Caesar from Planet of the Apes. Except he does it very like calmly. He's like moon, and he's like, what did you say? And I think he says it one more time. He like stares at him and he's like moon, and I think that's when the doctor realizes like, oh crap, like I think we can get him, we can save him.
It's a big payoff moment.
Yeah, big payoff moment. And this is where we get the true like, maybe the virus is, there's a cure.
There's still hope,
There's still hope, Which we haven't had in any movie. No, lie, false. We had it in the second movie because the girl could have been the antidote.
Right, because she was the one who like she carried the virus but didn't have any symptoms of
because she was born from the mom when she was infected, right? Something like that. Yeah. Classic zombie.
And then we jump back to the Jimmies. So this is where we get the cut. We see the aftermath where they don't have any skin on their torso,
except for the brother Tom.
He's the last one.
He's the last one.
Yeah, which I assume would have been the one that Spike Jimmy would have been quote unquote assigned.
Right. Well, no. Again, he doesn't assign them. The person that is going to challenge for the spot assigns.
No. What I mean is
that Spike would have been giving charity to.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
Spike would have given the charity to.
Oh, that guy. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
So they're all skinned alive. One left, and so basically what happens here is that all of the Jimmies except for Spike and Jimmy Inc. are in the barn. And so they basically give him the ultimatum, right? Like, you're going to face one of my Jimmies and a fight to the death, or we're going to kill you. So, like, take your pick.
And he explains that, like, if you win, you will become my new finger.
One of my fingers.
Yes. So you either, and that's even explain it very clearly. It's either you do this or charity. That's your only two options. And so, of course, the guy's like, all right, I'll do it. And then he gets to pick. And the reason I was like telling you, I'm like, why didn't he pick Spike? And I was like, oh, Spike wasn't in there at the time.
Yeah.
So he's seen all of them already, all the Jimmies interacting. So he thinks that Jemima is the weakest of them, right? Because she's the dancer. She has the fairy wings or whatever.
And I think at this point, she's also like, while the other ones are sopping at the mouth to get to be in the
she's
Spike,
just like sitting down.
She's doing her own thing in the corner. And so, just like Adam is saying, he chooses her, and so they're like, okay, so they cut him down.
Give him the same knife they gave Spike.
Same knife they gave Spike, and then they basically fight, and she like kicks this guy's butt, right?
Yeah,
like pretty hard, and she even makes a comment like, "You chose me because you thought that I was the weakest, but I'm the most dexterous or whatever." And she like counters one of his moves and takes her blade and goes down.
Well, first she gets him in the shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Like, which is gonna affect his like ability to do his thing. And then once, because he does get her a little bit with something, I forgot how he gets her, but then she like basically grapples him and just up the railroad tracks, like
and at that point it's game over, like that's it. So he ends up falling on the ground, and then this is where we see that the last gatherer, the pregnant person, had been in like the second story or whatever the whole time, and so she's watching this happen. And she sees basically like this hook that you would use to move hay bales around the
hits
barn.
her in the back of the...
So what's her Jemima or whatever.
She's like on top because she's like, I'm gonna like, what did she say? She's like, you should have picked somebody else because I'm gonna like what I'm gonna do to you and blah 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 and this and that. They said they would have just ended it quickly and like did that, and she wasn't gonna do that.
And she wasn't gonna do that. So she's basically, he's on the ground, she's on top of him and like holding the knife, doing this big old monologue or whatever, and then she just stops talking.
Yeah, she's
she like starts like whatever, and I think a little bit of blood starts coming out of her mouth.
Oh, because we have like his POV right now.
Yeah, his POV. And then the camera like turns and we can see that the hook went to the back of her head.
Yeah.
Which at this point we also a couple times we have found out that the hunter that got away, the girl that basically egged them on at the beginning, she was up in the top the whole time. And she even watched literally as everything occurred from the start of the barn to where they're at now. So she had to intervene because she knew, I mean, basically that was it for Tom. Like that he wasn't gonna make it.
And so then like all hell breaks loose, right? Jimmy Crystal orders all the other Jimmys to go get her. So while they're trying to, so while they're trying to get to the second story, to go, off her, Tom gets a propane tank and basically like sets it on fire and starts like
he cracks it open to where it's shooting out the gas, and then he cracks a lantern or something, right, to like get the flames. It's like a flamethrower. He's like.
And he sets one of the Jimmys on fire.
I don't even remember which one it was.
I don't know either.
It was I can't remember either. It was like Jimmy Snake or I don't know because there still ends up being
another.
There's two Jimmys other than the Spike and Jimmy Inc. that end up being left.
Mm-hmm. So the barn starts to burn down. All hell break loose. Homegirl makes it out. There's like a window at the top of the barn. She makes it out, and then they get out of the barn because it's on fire. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy Crystal orders Spike to go run after the pregnant lady. So he's like, okay.
Grabs his bow and arrow.
Yeah, grabs his bow and arrow, runs. They make it to the fence, and it's locked. And so this girl's like staring at Spike, and she's terrified, right? Like this guy, she doesn't know about anything about him. She just knows that he arrived with the rest of the party.
Right.
And so Spike's like, please let me go with you. Like, I'm nothing like that.
He's like crying.
He starts crying, And the lady's like, okay, whatever. Like, walks up a little bit.
The mother instinct. And then she
punches him
in the gut, opens the gate, takes off.
That was wild. I honestly thought, I was like, is this how he's going to get away? And she just straight up, boo. Oh.
It's a very quick, because I feel like, I don't remember. I feel like it gets silent. I don't know. It's very much like okay, it's finally getting away, and this is such a quick like vibe change.
She just changed.
So she takes off, and then Spike comes back to the rest of the Jimmys alone. He said that he killed her. He tells Jimmy Crystal that he killed her, and that's why he didn't return.
Crystal even onto it because he's like, let me guess, she'd be hard to find.
Yeah, he's like, and you didn't think to bring me a face or bring me this, and he's like, no. And so and Jimmy Inc. is starting to catch on to that like. Something like he's gonna turn on him, right? Like basically, because one of the other Jimmys, at Snake or somebody, he is basically calls Spike out, and he's like, we need to get rid of him. Like he's basically the weakest of us all, and he's gonna be like the downfall of us because he, like he's not meant to be with us. I think he's too weak to be a part of our group. Mm-hmm. And so setting it up to where it's like, let's just take him out now. And just as like Jimmy Crystal was about to maybe do it, Jimmy Inc. steps in and she's like, I think you're right. And Spike's like, what? Like freaking out, like, oh no, because that's like his one person that we think is going to be his friend. And she's like, but I think, because he's like, okay, I think we need to give him charity, and we're like, oh my gosh, like this has like gone uphill so quickly, or like we kind of sped up this whole ordeal. And she was like, but I think Saint Nick needs to decide, Old Nick needs to decide, and he's like, yeah, but he's like, no, in person, and he's like, what do you mean in person? And it's like, yes, I saw him, and Jimmy's face was like, what do you mean you saw him? Because he knows too, like. You can kind of tell he believes in what he's saying, but there's also a truth to like he knows he's a little bit delusional, and he's just doing this to like survive and like basically have.
Although I do think he genuinely hears voices in his head and stuff.
Oh, he does, but the fact that
there's a very much like, what do you mean?
Yeah, because that like you should be able to visibly see him. Like that's not it. And then she explains to him like, I saw him. Like he's red. He was dancing with the demon and Alpha and no other. And
Which Spike instantly knows, I'm sure.
Well, I think when he mentions he's in a kingdom of bones or like a castle of bones, and then I think that's when it clicks to Spike, like, oh no, that's the doctor. That's like the
Which I think this is, obviously, like, this one's just a complete continuation of the first, but I think this is one of the reasons that the first one is, like, vital to this one.
Second one.
It, like, a big part of the climax is the fact that Spike and the Doctor already know each other.
Yeah, they have an idea.
Which the viewer wouldn't have known without seeing the first one.
Right. So, so then they're like, all right, well, let's go see him. Yeah. And so they make their trek or whatever.
We get cut to the Bone Temple. This is where Samson starts to eat the berries.
Okay. So got ahead of myself. Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's still important. The doctor, we find him in the bunker and he's doing research, right? Like he has a bunch of medical books open and he's writing notes down. So then he goes up to look for Samson, but Samson's gone. Then we cut to the Jimmies and they're all watching the doctor basically, like, you know, go about his day.
Which is funny because they question Crystal and he's like, oh, well, he has like palaces here and there, but I didn't know he had one here or something like that.
Joel, and the thing is, Jimmy Inc. is the one that keeps on pressing him, asking him questions that she knows that like he's just lying about, right?
Which is funny because Inc., like, I think Inc. is, based on the conversation she has with Spike
earlier,
is actually convinced that this is old Nick, but she's questioning, I don't believe in Jimmy Crystal actually knowing him. Like, it's still this funny, like, okay, she knows that Jimmy Crystal's lying, but she still at least gives off that she believes part of the illusion.
Right.
Yeah, and so, well, I mean, I feel like to an extent, yes, because when we find out here in a second, once the two meet and have their conversation, that if you hadn't noticed, Jimmy Inc. has a cross carved into her skull.
Pretty strong.
Yeah, pretty strong.
I thought they all had it, but I'm not sure.
I couldn't see it.
Hers is very, very noticeable, though.
So basically they look and Jimmy's like looking through the thing and they're like, oh, it's him, right, lad? And he like, you can tell he's trying to like decide how he wants to go about this. And he basically is like, yep, that's him. Yeah.
But first, he makes it like, I gotta go talk to him.
Yeah, I need to make sure, because, you know, I'm his son. I need to go talk to him and make sure he's cool.
Is it very much like back and forth, like Jimmy gives off that he knows he's a liar, but then also when he meets him a little later on, he also gives off that he does think he's Satan. Like, it's this, I mean, a lot of it is a commentary, one, on just like religions and cults and etc., but also like because everything happened when he was a little kid, he very much has like a child mind. Like, you know, old Nick could be an imaginary friend or whatever, or the voices he hears.
Well, and then we're gonna.
So like he himself seems confused almost to a point.
Yeah, and we're gonna find out here why. So basically, he decides, I'm gonna go down there. Y'all stay up here. You don't come down. You don't do anything. Let me go. So Jimmy makes his way down there. He's inspecting the temple, right? He's like touching stuff and just like.
And he looks like scared.
Yeah, he's in awe because I think he knows too that like, what if this is like somebody that's a bigger bad than me that like literally is more sadistic, because like he makes the Jimmies do all his bidding, but like they're not saving bones and like putting him together and like the amount. I think that's what scares him the most is the amount compared to probably what Jimmy has done in the last 20 plus years has nothing on like what he could perceive this could be, right? Because there's just so many. And so he eventually makes his way, and I think he even looks up to it. The one that really gets him is the Tower of Skulls. That's where he kind of gets stopped at, which I think is kind of cool because, again, it plays off of the theme from the first one, right? Memento Mori, like remember life. But to him, he's seeing it as death, like this is all death to him.
Right, it's not a beautiful thing, it's like a scary thing.
Yeah, which is interesting because, right, he doesn't have that perspective since he didn't watch the first movie, right? So he goes in and he's like, hey, like, how's it going? And like the doctor looks, and again, he's kind of, you know, skeptical, right? New person, and it's somebody that's just walking around and
it's
just
an apocalypse.
Yeah, apocalypse, right? And he's just wearing a jumpsuit.
Right, anybody you meet, you have to be skeptical.
And he's just like, hey, you know, blah blah blah, I got a crazy place going on here, and so they end up just basically having a conversation. They sit down in the same spot like him and Samson sit down in by the river, and they have their conversations. And so for them,
Jimmy shows, this is like the first time we see the humanity about him. Like he kind of touches on his childhood.
Because he talks about his childhood because he basically like asked him questions about like, so these bones, like, you know, this and that. And so I think the doctor brings up like, yes, you know, these are, you know, people that I've found, and like, you know, it's a memorial to all these people that the virus has taken. And he's like, oh, so you think this is like like not man-made, but you think this is just like science.
Oh,
and yes. And
he
so
says you believe all this zombie shit was caused by science, which is funny
because it is
Again,
because he didn't watch 28 Days Later.
But this is also, I think this is funny because they refer to it as zombies, but then like how very insistent that like
It's not a zombie
it's not a zombie movie.
See, if Jimmy Crystal called it zombies, we know it's not. But yeah, even I found out the writer is an atheist, so it kind of leans in. Because I don't remember if Jimmy calls the doctor an atheist or self.
Yeah, well, no, he does say it too. But like, so this is where we have the conversation of the two different viewpoints. So we have one from a religious viewpoint. We don't know what religion yet, but a religious viewpoint versus a scientific viewpoint. And so he explains like, yes, I believe that, this is, a scientific thing and that these people have an illness, they're sick.
Yeah.
And he's like, so you don't believe this was an act of God for wrath and all this stuff, as punishment, or Satan, sorry, as old Nick.
Because he identified as a Satanist.
Yeah. And then this is where he identifies as, and that's when he says, you're a Satanist. And he's like, yeah. Because he's mentioned, he's like, so you're not old Nick. And he's like, old Nick. He's like, oh, you mean Satan? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, no. He's like, I'm not. And so he asked him about it, and that's when he brings up the childhood. Like, yeah. So he's like, why do you believe me to be Nick? He's like, yeah, just because you were red and all this stuff. He explains, oh, it's the iodine, it kills the virus. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, it's funny. I thought I was gonna see my dad. And he's like, your dad? You believe your dad's old Nick? And he's like, well, yeah. And he's going to ask him, why do you believe that? Well, because he led the charge. And again, going back to the previous movie, the dad is in the cathedral and is like screaming like, he thinks that it's God and he's accepting that this is God's choice to overtake. But to Jimmy as a young kid, he thinks that it's an evil and the dad is bringing the evil to him. Like, and he's accepting the evil.
Which just shows the similarities between like, even though like in this case Christianity and like Satanism are viewed as like opposite sides of the spectrum, they almost are the same.
Well, in terms of like they think it's wrath from their deity, right? Like their person is bringing the wrath to the world, but we all know it's the apes that had the injections, but the rage virus.
The rage.
So I like I said, I thought this was another good one. Dialogue back and forth, like you said, it was one where it opened up Jimmy, and he even made a point too. He's like, it's funny, like, I don't think I've ever liked anybody like I'm talking to you right now. Like, I really enjoy talking to you. I don't think I could ever say that about anybody since I've been alive. Like, you're the only person that I can just talk to and have a conversation. And then that's where we get the ultimatum.
Then we get the dilemma.
Yeah, the dilemma is like, well, it's a shame that you're not old Nick, because I have a group of my friends that wants to meet you, and I'm going to be in a dilemma if they find out that you're not old Nick. So we need to figure out a way for you to help me with my problem.
But he tells them like, they're going to come down here and they're expecting almost like a threatening.
Yeah, well, and then but then he's like, so what do you mean? He's like, well, because if you don't help me with my dilemma, I'm going to gut you across whatever. Because I think he starts realizing, like, I can take control of this situation because I'm realizing he's a scientific guy. He thinks he's weak. He thinks that, like...
And, in Jimmy's mind, he has the fingers,
I have the power.
6 on 1.
Yeah. So, and obviously the doctor's like, oh no, like, that is a thing. Like, that I can't take on 6 people. That ain't going to work. Well, less than 6 now. What is it? It's... Jack, it's the 4 plus him, so it's 5.
No, there's a
it's 6 still. Okay, you're right.
Which, although I think, does the doctor ask for anything in return? I don't remember.
No, he just knows he needs to do it.
Okay, I'll do it.
No, he has to do it because he knows if he doesn't, he's gonna die. And so the reason we find out that he's gonna accept it, because we've also found out, from just seeing him, that the doctor really at this point hasn't been afraid to die. Like, he's accepted, it's gonna happen at some point. I'm just delaying so I can continue, making a remembrance, but also study and do things. And so when Samson, I think, had his a moment of I'm kind of human again, that he now feels like he needs to make sure that he takes care of him, right? And so that's when we get the fast forward to he meets Samson again, right? At one point, and then he goes back up to meet the rest of the fingers.
I believe you are correct.
Yes.
Let me see.
Yeah,
so
I think Jimmy goes back, meets the fingers, and tells him, "Hey guys,
we're good, but we're gonna meet him tomorrow night or something."
Yeah, tomorrow night.
So Jimmy tells the rest of them tomorrow night, but like we as the audience know that whatever they agreed on, it's going to take that long for the doctor.
Right, he's stalling so we can get ready.
Yeah, like that. Like, and they don't try to hide that at all as far as like the movie producer. Or sorry, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because we see the doctor set everything up.
Yeah, we see everything set up.
So basically, when Jimmy Crystal's saying we're gonna go the next night, he also tells them that there's two really big rules. The first one is do not touch old Nick or the doctor, and the other one is do not talk to him. Like I will be the only one conversing with him.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, okay, cool. Then we cut back to the doctor talking with Samson and saying that. So this is where we get more of like, I guess what his research has led him to that Samson is seeing things that makes him attack people, and so he gives
causing
Samson
a fog of the brain. Like that's the last part is that your brain is fogged. So whatever your senses are, they're being clouded.
Right. And so he gives them some more medication, and then kind of goes off on his merry way.
He does make a point to put, I was not afraid to die until today because, I think we can finish this. And he's like, I need to also fast track this because
I feel like he's going to take his time.
Yeah, but I don't have I feel like that clock has run out. Like we need to do this now. So he gives them like 6 different pills.
I think you're right.
Yeah, he gives them a lot.
I have a question about this, which we could have touched on at the end. I'm assuming because they're pills, they wear off? Question?
That's what I assume too.
Because I wonder what happens when they wear off.
I think they're gonna potentially wear off. But he gives Samson pills, so we have to imagine this is his a thought on like, okay, I think we can try to clear up that part of the. He said he's called it a psychosis. We need to cure your psychosis. If we can clear that, I think everything else is good. Like whatever the opiate has done has calmed you. Now we just got to get rid of the psychosis to keep you from getting crazed, which makes sense. It's a rage virus. It's a psychosis that's causing you to be enraged. So
like
if you can clear, like rabies. So
So then let's see. So it's the next morning. Spike wakes up before everybody else. We're with the Jimmies, and he tries to escape. One of the Jimmies basically catches him, follows him. They get into a scuffle or whatever, and then Jimmy Inc. comes to the rescue and kills the other Jimmy. Basically saying at this point, like, "Hey, Spike, like you're just stick with me and we'll be cool." Yeah. Like it's very obvious that you want to get out of here. Just stick with me.
Because Spike's trying to get to the doctor.
He's like, I just need to get anywhere but here. And she's like, there's nowhere better than here. I've looked. So she's also at some point, I think,
she's been doubting for a while.
Yeah, and she's been trying to leave, but she also knows there's really not a whole lot of better options than hanging out with them.
Right. So then they cut back to camp where they're basically explaining to Jimmy Crystal like what happened, and they lie to him saying that the other guy wanted to.
Which this is the guy from the beginning who because
he told him
against Spike.
He told him that you killed my
friend.
That was like the only person that I thought was my best friend.
Yeah. So then we cut back to the to the doctor, and he's calling for Samson in the field. Samson, this is where we get shots of him washing his hands in the river.
Mm-hmm.
This is before the train scene?
Yes. Yeah, we're
it's all
into the train scene.
Okay.
Because now he's hearing the train noises, and he's hearing children laughing. And we get really everything from his POV, right? And eventually everything starts to quiet down, which I'm assuming at this point is like the pills taking even more of an
clearing
effect.
up. Yeah.
And then
because I think some of the sounds happened prior to this, we just didn't get very much of it. He just heard things, and that's it. Because
there was a moment when he's walking around and he
hears a train, and I think sees like a train in his brain going across tracks for like a split second.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of times we see him walking and we get like the face fronting camera, like where it's attached to him, and we see him walking.
Yeah. So then he walks onto the train, which is where the lady had given birth in the previous movie, and he takes a seat, and then this is where we start to see like a memory.
Don't we see multiple versions of him, or is it only him?
No, it's multiple versions. So he's a kid. We see a bunch of people on the train, and he sits down, right? And then
this is a kid version of him.
And he's reading about the moon.
Yeah, reading about the moon. It's like, full circle. I thought that one was a little on the nose. Okay. He's like going through, and then it's a lady walking by to collect the train tickets,
Right.
and she's like, you know, do you have your train ticket? And he like looks up, and at this point he was a kid when she asked. It goes back to her, it cuts back to him, and he's fully grown, like, except he looks a little bit more upset.
It's the basically the actor, but minus the.
I didn't think about this because would he have been infected as a kid?
Yeah, he would have.
He would have been, maybe.
So this is his first time being an adult in that memory.
Yeah, that memory. Well, and then it keeps on panning back to him and the lady, because he's trying to answer, but we don't know if he's going to answer, right? Because he hasn't said anything other than moon. And I like the way they did this camera set up in the scene where like every time it pans back to the lady, more and more people are like staring at him.
Yes.
Because there was even moments too where I think one or two people like looked at him but didn't like make any reference. I think even him walking as a zombie, there were other zombies walking near him and they knew something was off because they would like follow him, and I thought at first like, oh, is it just because he's the alpha and they follow the alpha? But they could tell something wasn't right. So they followed him. So then the scene keeps on panning back to where in his vision he's seeing train passengers like looking at him, and there's more and more and more, and then he finally cuts to him and he's in his full zombie form, an adult, and he looks up and he's like, I don't have a train ticket. It like says it so calmly, and it's you pan back
This
to
is
where
the first full sentence.
and all the train people turn out to be all the zombies at this point that have followed him, that have filled this train, and then they they go after
he
him.
beats him up.
Yeah, he slams them against the thing.
He's still the alpha,
ripping
bro.
their freaking organs out.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a moment he gets pulled back in before he comes back out.
Kind of. No, I think he just like reacts and he's like, I need to defend myself, and I don't think he even realizes that. Oh, I still have superhuman strength, because that like is pretty quick. Because he like picks up that one zombie, is just like boom. And, like, I think he body cracks another one.
Yeah.
Which he's already infected. All they can do is kill him. Like them biting him doesn't do anything.
One of the things too, they do bite him and all of that, but one of the infected like spit on him.
Yes, they spit, like that was like a natural reaction to spit on him. So my thought, I don't know. Again, this is where we can have our debate. You're the science person, but I think. In my mind, what I was telling my Ida was that I think that was their reaction of we need to infect this person because maybe that whatever neurologically is happening in their brain, again, chemicals or like whatever hormones are getting sent off, they're not catching that. So to them, even though he has the virus, they don't see him as having the virus.
He's not giving off the virus.
So they need to infect him, and that's why he gets in and they spit him, like you were saying. I thought that was... Yeah, which is interesting. So then I was like, I guess I can't get reinfected. I'm like, can they give him enough to where it can re-affect him heavily again? I don't...
And it also shows like that they still function like animals. Like they have some kind of like evolutionary want to infect people or whatever.
Yeah. It's a really good...
And they take down... and then we end with them basically overpowering Samson. There's just too many. He can take on a couple at a time, but then there's just a lot of them.
Do they cut away at that moment?
Yeah, it cuts away, yes.
They cut away, and then we get a shot of the doctor, and he's in his bunker, and this is where we see the Iron Maiden Number of the Beast.
Yes. He's played the record once or twice in the movie already, and so this is where he's setting up everything, and it's a quick montage.
He went all out, bro.
Yeah, and somehow, again, like I said, he had a generator, and he had
big
speakers. Gas that lasted that long. It didn't go bad. That still worked, and I'm surprised the generator was still running. That oil lasted that long.
I guess so.
And he basically somehow within the span of those few hours got candles lit all around. I don't even know how he got all those candles.
Found a crucifix.
Yeah,
or made a crucifix.
I don't know that too. I was like, that's crazy. He sets up like the temple to where it's like almost like it's a bone temple. It's like like different candles, like almost like Skull Island.
Yeah, it becomes the way it looks is less of a memorial and more of a like religious site.
Right. Yeah. Very temple. Very dark.
Feels like Satan's lair.
Yeah, it's a lair. Yeah.
But
D&D dungeon.
the final boss room. Yeah. So then we cut to night. The Jimmies basically walk up, and there's like a trail that they follow or whatever, and everything is decorated. They see, just like you're saying, the upside down cross,
and they have masks on.
They do have masks on.
Jimmy made them wear the stranger's mask.
They have like an altar set, or I guess the doctor set up an altar that has like its own like regalia on it.
Yeah.
And then this is where we get the intro for Number of the Beast.
Number of the Beast, yeah, because Jimmy walks in and he's like looking around. They're all like mesmerized, right? Because they also, for the first time, seeing this tempo really, and they're like, "Oh, this is crazy!" Like, because again, nobody is doing this in the apocalyptic world, so like that's definitely like they believe that it's.
It's such a perfect song to choose because it has like the vocal spoken intro.
Yeah, and you don't even see him right until the riff starts hitting. And he's like basically hiding behind everything. And people said he looked like Mito's favorite Mortal Kombat character, Quan Chi. He's like painted. He's like painted in like white paint, and he's like basically like.
I'm sure this is where the poster's from, right?
Yeah, this is where the poster's from. So he's like dancing and he's like going to town.
They let like the whole song play out.
And so
he's singing offbeat.
He is singing offbeat.
Yeah, and so one of the cool things, which I think plays into the thing. He gets some sort of chemicals, like dust form, powder form, that he blows into the thing,
so smart,
which helps create a psychedelic effect to help enhance like what he's doing like by tenfold, so they really believe. And also, I mean,
it's like an advantage to him, like throw them off a little bit.
So it can kind of also mess with their brain. I think does he blow it in everybody's face except for Jimmy, or he does get Jimmy Crystal too.
He does get Crystal.
So yeah, and everybody's like, what? Like they're like freaking out. You can see some of them start getting hazy with what they're seeing, but he just basically does like a 2-minute dance montage. Except he like disappears for a second too, right? Like something happens, and everybody's like, where did he go? And then he comes, it's like somehow he did a costume change in less than like 5 seconds, and he comes out in like even more heavy dutier.
He looks like the guy from In a Violent Nature.
Yeah, In a Violent Nature. And he comes out with these two, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Sacks of like.
It's not like one rod,
they're like
Darth Maul lightsaber.
they're almost like coals, I'm guessing. And he has something in there where they react as soon as they hit the side or something. They like shoot like huge sparks of it's really cool. Like I thought this was probably
this is where the whole budget went.
Yeah, this is probably the whole budget. I thought this was honestly one of the peak moments in the movie because I think it culminates with the whole like just like he's fully accepting like I am doing this and like going 100% and like him just letting loose because we've seen it already before. He likes to dance, he loves music. Music is a big part of him too, and so him being able to like act out the Number of the Beast and like be able to do all that. And like dude is crazy to put on that whole choreography performance in under like a day is insane. But then it even ends too, right? The last like riff, boom, like it hits and like big spin.
Does he disappear? I feel like he disappears
at the end of the song.
Yeah, he like disappears and everybody's like, oh, and then he appears at the altar again.
Fucking dressed like Hellraiser. During the concert, just to cut a little thing, we do get Samson coming out of the train. Samson does come out of the train fully covered in blood. Like, I mean, we're talking.
So he took the W.
Yeah, he somehow came. I mean, I guess he can overpower them at some point. He's on the roids. I'm trying to remember who had just as much like red on them. It was like Evil Dead level blood. I mean, he was like head to toe red. And so Samson like is leaving the train. He gets to they're at the altar now, and I think at one point too I will mention during this scene it's not just the doctor dancing, like all the Jimmies are getting into it. They're just going to town. It's like Woodstock, and they're just jamming out to Iron Maiden. It's kind of funny. It's a little cheesy. I'm not gonna lie. If you take it for face value and you don't really know what the scene represents, it is kind of cheesy, but when you understand what he's going for and like everything, I'm like, it makes sense. It's really cool. I like this music scene. It was really well done.
It's really good. So then everything kind of calms down a little bit, right? Everybody's like still freaking high as hell. But this is where Crystal and the doctor start to converse, right? And he drops some like fire ass lines. I wish I was able to write them down, but it's basically like how he is like the reckoning, and he's come here to like reclaim his throne and all these other things.
They did good with this.
He
again, they put this together in a day, man.
And so then Jimmy basically starts asking him questions, right? Like, is it true that I am your son? And he's like, yes, you are. Is it true that these are my fingers, XYZ? Yes, it is.
What are the three things we need to do?
Three things we need to do.
And he's like, so they need to follow all my instructions, right? Like, basically, like that's his way of really trying to put his thumb on Jimmy Inc. because he knows Jimmy Inc. is trying to buck on him, and he's afraid the others could potentially. So he like basically makes it a point that one especially, like you got to make sure that one's one of the things. Because so it's that he gives him the 3 rules.
Yeah, and then he says, the doctor says, and there's one more command.
No. He gives him the 3. But then he looks at.
Oh, you're right.
He recognizes Spike from his eyes. He can't see him from under the mask, but he can see.
He gets like close to him.
I know what it is. It's the 3rd one. He mentions. He's like, "So you want us to continue, right?" He's like, "Yes." And then Jimmy Crystal. This is where he screws up. He describes to the doctor because he never really truly said what he does. I mean, it's implied. The doctor knows, okay, he's probably not a great guy, but it implies that, like, so we're going to continue reigning terror. We're going to bring our atrocities to all these people and make them, accept our charities and, like, to you, and, like, we're going to do all of this and continue your reign of terror. And then he starts sinking in, like, like, he's not a good person. Like, I can't let this, in good faith, I can't let this guy have all this power because he knows he's giving it to him if he accepts that. And that's when he drops after he sees Spike with his eyes terrified, he knows that's him.
Did he go up to Spike? I don't remember.
No, well, he does, kind of, he looks at him.
He gets a better look.
Yeah. It's more, I think if I remember correctly, it's more of like he gets into everybody's face a little bit and then he like lingers on Spike.
On Spike.
And this is when we get, like one of the comedic where he's like, and one more rule. And Jimmy's like, no, I think you just had
and then he basically, the doctor says that like Jesus was
brought lore.
Yeah, that God had sent Jesus down as like his son to resolve or absolve everybody of their sins, but in order to do that, he had to be crucified and sacrificed. And so then the doctor's basically like, so you, Jimmy Crystal, you have to be crucified.
And he's like, no. And then he's like, I think he tells it right too. He's like, no, you're gonna have to do this. And then the other Jimmy Ink's like, oh yeah, let's go. He's like, and he starts seeing that the other, she's the most enthused about it.
This is where he fucked up because he painted this guy as actually being old Nick.
Yeah, and
he's giving him all this credibility.
Yeah, and he knew okay, I gotta just stop it now. So he ends up jabbing the doctor in the side,
just like how Jesus was.
Yeah, so he jabs him in the side. And so he's just trying to protect face. And then how does Jimmy Crystal get hit? Like something is able to stop him. Is it Jimmy Ink?
Yeah, so basically I think they start fighting. Like all of the minor Jimmys start fighting, but then Jimmy Ink is able to take the other 2 out. And then that's when they turn on Crystal.
I don't remember if Spike gets Crystal or what happened.
Oh, is it Spike? Spike might have gotten Crystal.
It might have, because Crystal doesn't die here.
He just gets
he gets taken out.
Yeah,
he just gets taken down.
Spike stabs main Jimmy. So he
takes him. He at least neutralizes him to where he goes down. But Jimmy Ink takes care of the other 2 Jimmys, or is it just one of the?
It's just 2. Yeah.
It's 2.
Yeah.
Which I think we've come to find she's the strongest of all of them. She literally barrel rolls and takes out a zombie.
I think that's why she was sent to go find
because she can protect herself. Yeah.
So then Spike goes up to the doctor and he says basically that he saw Spike through his eyes and he couldn't let Jimmy continue. And then they basically Jimmy Ink is more than enthusiastic to be the one to end up crucifying Jimmy Crystal
on the somehow giant crucifix that he made in under a couple hours.
And
unless he just had I just have one laying around. Oh, you know what? I lied. He potentially could have grabbed that from the church because remember he mentioned the chapel earlier. He's like, that chapel that's right there. But that thing had to have been heavy. That man dragging that all the way, that would be wild.
And not alerting any of the infected.
That's crazy. If that's the case, granted, he does, again, I'll throw this out there, he has leg muscles for days. They did a close-up of his calves. Do you remember that when he was walking at the beginning? It was just straight up he's jacked.
After crucifying Jimmy Crystal, this is where Jimmy Ink says that her name is Kelly, and her and Spike walk off. Jimmy...
she throws off the wig too.
Yeah, throws off the wig while Jimmy's crucified, dying next to the doctor. This is where he says that he can't hear the voices anymore that they had cleared out. Then we get a shot of the alpha starting to walk up.
But he sees the alpha with
horns. We see the 2 perspectives. So from Jimmy's perspective, he looks like Satan. Right?
I want to know about
horns
this.
And everything.
I don't understand.
I think it's because I think the thing is, like you were saying, we don't always know how to perceive what other people are perceiving, right? Like, so for example, you had mentioned you believe that Jimmy hears and sees all these things in his head.
So he really does see the infected as like demons?
Maybe, but I think it's a combination of, obviously he's delusional. It's also, again, he got powdered, right? So there's that.
Drugs.
He's been upside down, blood loss, because I mean, I have to imagine.
They did stab him on the side.
And his POV, he is like fading. Like,
and he's fading, so I think that's part, all of that combined just is, again, hitting that peak point of like, he has no real sense of reality anymore, and all of those things are just combining for him to see. And I mean, it's obviously what would you call that? It's like a not even metaphoric, but it's just like his literal perspective of like, this is how he views the world. Those are demons, and it's because of his dad or whatever.
We also get the "Father, why have you forsaken me" line, which he says in the very first movie when he's a kid under the church.
Yes, and again, that's because, again, like, to him, he still thinks that Nick is his dad. After all that, he still believes, well, I guess he knows that wasn't Nick, right, the person, but he believes
he's still suffering in the world.
Yeah, and he sees that as his last thing. He thinks that has to be his dad, right?
Yeah.
Because, again, to the end, he truly believes that he is the son of...
And what did Samson do to the doctor? Did he just
Samson
picks them up, right?
He talks to the doctor. I can't remember exactly what he says, but he says full sentences now.
He says like, thank you for...
Oh, the doctor hasn't passed yet.
No,
he's still
no. Like, I don't think we in this moment.
No, he does. He's already faded. I'm pretty sure he fades. I'm pretty sure when he's with Spike and the girl.
Yeah,
I'm 90% sure. Like, 'cause he's like, I could not let you go, like, I could see it in your eyes, like, I don't want to see you go through any more pain, like, you suffered enough, because he's already suffered the loss of his mom, and he was already a part of that, so to him, he couldn't see Spike having to deal with the suffering of what the Jimmies would have had to make him endure.
Because Samson does say something to the doctor.
He says, I think it's just to him, he's just like, thank you for clearing my mind or helping me.
Something like that.
Yeah, to that effect, but I think the doctor's done at that point, because he can't. That was the thing. I thought that was the beauty of it, is the doctor didn't get to see the full final product of, like, it worked. And that's like the saddest part of the entire movie, and that made me, the first thing I thought was, it's the mist. Like, it gives you like had he survived a little bit longer, he could have had a half year.
I've seen the mist now.
I mean, granted, it's not that people would have lived, but I think he would have been able to pass happier. He passed happy knowing that he saved Spike.
Yeah.
But I think he would have had that much more gratifying.
It's a bittersweet, like, his true mission really
paid off, but he didn't get a chance to see it, which is, I think, a sad truth of all scientists, right? They're always trying to search for something, and they'll always get right there and might find the thing that they need to, but they never fully realize it, and somebody else has to finish their work to complete it. It's like, that's like an old tale from everything, right? Somebody always has to finish something somebody started because they didn't get their life's work seen to the
Unless you're Oppenheimer, then you get your own.
And then you second guess everything.
Doesn't
Speaking of Oppenheimer.
True. But at the very end of this, when Jimmy's hanging, we also get like a really quick pop up at the end.
That was the jump scare. That got me. I was like, no.
Honestly, I thought the movie was over at this point.
I thought so. Well,
it basically is.
It is.
When I tell you, I jumped out of my. I forgot that this person was in it, honestly.
So then we get shots of a farmhouse, and this is the exact same house from the 28 Days Later.
Which means the jet didn't get him, bro.
Well, we already found out that they're not going to take anybody from the island. They said no.
You're right. So we get shots from the farm for the end of the 28 Days Later. And it's Jim, your boy, Cecilian Murphy, giving basically a history lesson to his daughter. And they're talking about World War II. And then they hear commotion from outside. They look, and then on the hill they see Spike and Kelly running, and then the horde of infected. And then the movie ends with the daughter saying, "Do we help them?" And then Cecilian Murphy saying, "Of course we do." And then boom, the movie ends.
Yeah, so good. A very good way to lead it, because I was scared they were gonna do like there seems to be a standard thing when movies are filmed back to back where especially if they're part of a trilogy or whatever. And when I say this, I'm really talking about like the new Halloween reboot, where like the first two take place back to back, and the third one is like 4 years later or 5. But this makes it clear that they're gonna go straight into which I think is important because there's some cliffhangers I have questions about.
So you just good with the epilogue, right? You just Cecilia Murphy rated.
Yeah.
All right, and then they see them.
Which he got a good.
And then they get
fight.
and then they get the what is the song, and everybody's like,
Yeah.
Oh, is it the original?
They played the song.
Yeah, the 28 Days Later song.
Theme. I will say, again, going back to something we talked about at the beginning, and you mentioned, I do want to retouch on it. So you had mentioned you don't believe, not that you don't believe, but you thought it kind of needs to be a part of the first one to stand its ground as a really good movie. Like, you need them to coexist. I feel as though with some small adjustments to some details, I think this movie could stand alone. Like, the only real true thing that you have is what you mentioned,
the
which
spike
was
and
the spike and the doctor. But outside of that, you could start, and it's just a tale of this doctor with a group of infected people. Yes, they have some interaction and they know each other, but like, you don't have to know any of this stuff beforehand, because the interaction they have beforehand is just a minimal, like, oh, I've seen him before, I call him Samson because this reason, that's it. Like, that's the amount of time that they spend on that.
I feel like the payoffs make it better. Even though everything isn't paid off, I agree with you that maybe, like, if this is the first, you went to the movie theater and you hadn't watched the first one, I think you would understand enough of what's happening.
Yes.
But I think, like how I said, I think the first one's a 9, this is a 9.5. I think that they make each other 10s by coexisting as a package. Even though the third one, like, obviously that'll then be added on. And
that's why I'm curious what they're going to do with that, because I think
there's a lot of pressure, I feel.
Yeah, the first movie I liked, because first of all, I already said I was worried about the 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
There was not 1,000 cuts. We had
a different director.
We didn't get a kill cam.
We didn't.
There was a different
director.
director, and I think that's a point that Justin, our fourth loser, had mentioned as well, that like, he could see the differences because there wasn't as much experimental things. There wasn't crazy camera angles. There weren't these awkward, I wouldn't say awkward, but like risks taken with certain aspects. Like, I think it was very well thought out, and I think the zombie perspective is something we haven't seen. Outside of, not zombie perspective, but werewolf perspective from your favorite movie, Werewolf 2025, or what was it called? Wolfman, which was kind of cool. I thought that was like the coolest part, but I think it's really interesting. They showed that, kind of helps tie in a lot of things of like, well, now looking back at all the other movies, like, if that's what they're seeing, like how that's happening and how all that's occurring is kind of interesting.
We're really exploring their perspective, which hasn't been done in time.
And they didn't make the same mistake they could have made, which is, I'm just going to keep on following Spike, because that easily could have been ruined if we gotten too much of Jack O'Connell. They just did enough. They did enough of showing each without ruining it.
Which I assume he's done. He's cooked.
Yeah, I think he's over.
I hope so, because it's a very good, like, full circle wrap of his story.
I don't think he'll come
But
back.
I do agree that, like, going into this movie, I thought it was going to focus mainly on Spike, so I'm glad that really wasn't the case, because I feel like the Samson thing is way more... Like, going into this movie, I didn't know that the alpha was going to be... Like, that is really the payoff of this.
Well, I think they mentioned that, right? I thought they said they were going to go a little bit back into Samson's background, but we didn't even get much, right? It was very minimal, but...
I feel like that's all you need.
That's all you need,
We don't know what's going to happen in the next movie. But also, I think I'm glad that it was a slower paced movie. Based on the end of the last one, with them doing the whole, like, Power Rangers shit, I thought this whole movie was going to be, like...
action.
Them doing that, like, way more action, and I feel like that would have... Yeah, the redeeming factor of this, funny enough, because I don't think I would say this about the other movies, like the first two, is the actual narrative. Like, the 28 Days Later, I feel like is really revered because they did the whole zombie thing, blah, blah, blah. But, like, you get a little bit of the characters.
And
but
it's man that's evil. It's like, Resident Evil did that too.
But this movie, the narrative, which is rare for a horror movie, really carries it. Like, the dialogue and stuff like that. Like... Again, the 2 or 3 times that we see the infected in, like, hordes, like, the most impactful one is the Samson scene, but, like, a lot of the movie, they're probably in the movie for, like, 2 minutes total, besides Samson.
Yeah, I think because we're finding, too, that, like, that's not the most important thing. Yes, they're infected, and yes, they're there, but they're almost like, if thinking about it now, they're just like wildlife. They're literally in the woods or in various places. They're just there to eat and survive. They're not trying to... always be in your grill, but if you get near them, obviously that's when it triggers. They're going to go after you. They're just wandering and they're just doing their own thing.
Big kudos to the writers, I feel, just because like 28 weeks later was very much clearly like a, oh, we need to make a sequel, we need to make the money. Like, we're going to do a random story, and I feel like these movies, especially if they only had done one, could have easily been the, like, you know, what a lot of series do, or we'll just copy and paste the first one, and where I feel like they're really diving into a lot of stuff that they didn't have to. So
I thought that was, I mean, I can't imagine that. Like, again, to my thought, and again, against what Justin had said, and I think you had mentioned it, I think it could stand alone. Like, I think I could sit and just watch that movie and be pleased. Like, I don't think I would need to have to go back and watch the first one, but it's nice, like you're saying, to put two together. I think they complement each other, but both can stand apart from each other, even though the endings will lead you to want to watch.
I know we got to wrap up. I do want to say, like, one, I want to know what happened to the baby, because as far as we knew, the doctor had the baby at the end of the first one. I don't know.
No, he delivered it to the
island.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, Spike delivers it to the island.
I forgot about that. Okay, that was one of my questions. Two, we didn't get any of the dad or the island in this movie, which I didn't expect to be the case, so I'm assuming they're saving that all for the third.
I don't even know. I mean, with Cillian Murphy, I
feel like it has something to do with the woman that is pregnant that also escaped. Like, she's gonna run into the dad, and they're gonna be convinced that, like, Jimmy, Ink, and Spike are bad and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming that's the only way to continue with the story.
That makes sense. Honestly, that makes sense, because that would be my thought, is they're gonna have that conflict of Cillian Murphy finding out that there's something not right with it. I mean, just seeing that she has the freaking, cross on her.
They better not kill Jim, or I will hate them.
Kill Jim. But I would say I think my biggest, not plot, but my thing that I hope that they do, but they're probably not going to. If they don't, it's not the end of the world. But do we think Jim is going to go back to the Bone Temple and see his research and help make the cure, or do we think that's it? Like, that's the end of it. The cure ends with Samson hopefully being cured, but we don't know how long it lasts, and that's the last we hear of it.
Oh yeah, because we still have to get Samson's story wrapped up.
But that would be my thought. I in my soul, I want them to, but I almost feel like post-apocalyptic world, that's probably not in their cards of wanting to do, nor does Spike and Jimmy Ink even know. So, like, how would he know that there's a cure that was found? You know what I mean?
Just like quick, because we got to wrap this up. But in my mind, it's Spike telling Cecilia and Murphy everything that's gone on, right? Mm-hmm. Cecilia's gonna be like, I want to see this bone temple. They somehow find...
We're gonna go see this bone temple.
Yeah, I mean...
Watch him die, like, 5 minutes.
If you heard that there was this massive altar of, like, fucking skulls, you wouldn't want to go see that? Like, that's on the other side of the hill?
They gotta bring it all together.
This man's been teaching philosophy for the last 20 years. You think he wants to go... He's eating beans and toast every day. You think he wants to go...
I mean, that's what I'm saying, is that, like, they go, they see it, they find the bunker, it's the cure, then it's trying to contact the outside world.
Yeah. And also whether Spike wants to know
that's the only way that I can think that they would bring in, like, your...
I have to imagine, though, at this point, at 28 years, that he doesn't care about the outside world.
I feel like it's more of a moral victory. Like, okay, we found the cure. Now we're just gonna help cure the people around us.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I don't know, but that's
I would hope, but I don't.
I do think there's a lot riding on, like, that. This is the end of the trilogy. The original director Danny Boyle is pretty old, so I feel like this might be the end of the series, at least for a long while.
Yeah.
I think this is the last one that Murphy's gonna be in. So not only do you have to wrap up this trilogy, I feel like there's questions from the first one. Where's the little girl that was with them? Where's presumably the mom of this child? Like, I think there's story arcs from the first one at the end that can also be wrapped up. I feel like there's a lot of pressure based on how good the first two were, that this either, like, makes or breaks. I would say the whole franchise, honestly. Well, because this is the ending of the franchise. Like, if this one has a good ending, maybe I'll like 28 days later.
That's like putting the whole Terrifier series on Terrifier 4. We know it's probably not going to be great.
Is it not?
No, because we've all agreed we don't want to see Art's backstory. They're going to do it anyways. It's I don't want to see that. I think we're about to get to that point with that franchise where it's like, I'm going to watch it because we have to watch it because, but I'm also like, I want to just be able to, like, just enjoy,
Okay.
Okay, well, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, so that was 28 years later, Bone Temple. The next movie is going to be Adam's pick. Adam, what are we watching?
We're going to go with a recent classic, Black Phone 2.
Recent classic?
Which I found out today, people on Reddit were hating on it, and I thought it was, like, I thought everybody agreed it was good.
I think people just...
Did you watch it or no?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so it's your first. Yeah.
I think it's going to be good. You watched the first one, though, right?
I did.
Okay.
when it
Better
came
than the
out.
first. Better than the first.
Better than the first in my opinion, but we'll get there. No
Okay.
spoilies.
No spoilies. Okay.
There'll be a third one. I'm sorry.
So the next one, we're gonna be watching is Black Phone 2. Until then, y'all have a good day.